Hello, everybody. Welcome to the most recent and probably your new favorite podcast about motorsports. This is Azul Plan.
Good morning, good afternoon, and why not good evening. Here we are again, back on track. In this podcast, we would like to call, and we call, in fact, it,
Azul
that space, our little space in cyberspace. We are two guys that really like F1, and we'd like to discuss and to recap races of this season. And it might be, it's not an interesting season, but if you speak with to the right people, it really is an interesting season. And we've got someone who really knows about this stuff. And this is, I'm introducing my friend from Lisbon, Portugal.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. And you?
Good.
Great.
Relax.
Well, great. That's always great. We are recording Friday, so always is a good time during the all day long. My name's Diego. I'm trying to be your guest during the next half an hour, and we are trying to catch up the championship. We are still speaking about a few stages ago, yeah. And which one is the choose? Or which ones are the chosen for this chapter?
So we will review Japan Grand Prix and the US Grand Prix.
Yeah, great. We were all waiting. Well, we are every year waiting for the Japanese Grand Prix. I think it's a very special track. The Japanese weather always bring surprises with it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, one of the best track and circuit layouts for sure. All drivers love it. I think probably most fans also love it. And like you said, the weather sometimes is tricky. And this year it was tricky, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was part of the equation. We had surprises about that. I mean, it was expected to have rain during the race, but we hadn't during the free practices, the quali. What happened?
Yeah, the weather was not so consistent as probably drivers and teams would have wanted. So yeah, we got a mixed weather weekend for the race. It was hard for every driver and teams, but in the end, one was the same. Verstappen with Red Bull. If we were hoping to have a more exciting race, well, we were not so lucky after all.
Mm-hmm. We were waiting for another close fight, perhaps, with Ferrari. That didn't happen.
No, it didn't. And we are hoping that they have close fights like since Hungary or something like 8 races ago. And well, Ferrari is not on the same level as Red Bull. Not now.
Yeah, I don't know if that race, I really don't remember it. If that race, Ferrari showed that problem with tires that is a big charge for them, like an unsolved problem. They have the speed, they have the right configuration in general. They can find it, but the car destroys the tires. And that always is a problem that drivers cannot solve, that engineers cannot solve, that strategists cannot solve. So that also means that we hadn't a very interesting championship in a point. But something strange happened with the stewards' determinations, something that in a way conditions the final result of the championship?
Well, as we are getting used to, stewards and FIA and well, those guys are being consistent. Consistent, unlike the weather, these ones are consistent and always making mistakes. And it all started by doing that procedure in the beginning of the race. That well, the race started as usual, normal, and it was raining, which is like a miracle. They started a race raining, not so common on the last few years. And they started out with intermediate tires, and that was a mistake they all made. And then Carlos Sainz suffered from aquaplaning, another crash. They red flagged it, and well, they should have come back right after, but no, because of the safety and blah 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 issues and things like that, they stayed and stayed and stayed, and everyone was waiting for the race to restart. And well, I don't understand if they have wet tires and if the drivers all go with intermediate and then crash. Well, it's their problem. It's not the track that is undrivable. So that was the first mistake.
Drivers, they really don't like extreme rain tires. I think because of the ground effect. That tires this season they spread a lot of humidity to the air, so it's impossible to see. That's the explanation. And the stewards are pretty sure that's true. I don't know, but they did was to wait.
Yeah, and wait, and then we had a race that was shortened, of course, because of the 3 hours thing, 3 hours rule. And yeah, well, not so mistake, but a little mess was on the final stages when Perez was putting some pressure on Leclerc. He put the pressure on for some laps, and in the final corner, Leclerc made a mistake, cut the corner, and well, maintained this position, crossed the line second, and everyone was like, "Oh, will he be penalized or not?" Meanwhile, nobody knew if the points were being given also like full points or half the points because of the shortened race. No one knew if Verstappen was cheating or not. Well, and in the end, they gave full points because there is something on the regulation that the teams were. It was like a loophole. They were not prepared for this, but that was the case. And also Leclerc was given a 5-second penalty, which made Perez being second, and Verstappen was champion in a very anticlimactic way because he didn't. He was like, "Oh, I'm champion." Oh, okay.
I was just to steal your expression. that was a word that I never used. It is not usual for me. But this year you used during a lot of conversations and during a lot of chapters, and it is a very good word to describe what happened. It was better than Spa. I mean, 2021 Spa Grand Prix. Okay, yeah, it was better, but I doubt about how fair it was. I doubt about the points for a shortened race. I doubt about Leclerc penalty. I doubt about, I don't know. And obviously about the delay in the restart. We all say all the time, not during the recordings, but they are the best drivers in the best cars in the world. So they have to manage the rain thing.
Of course. They, drive slower. If you can drive fast, drive slower. Simple.
Absolutely. So at that point, we started to discuss about the sub-champion, the second place in the championship. At this moment, it started to be an important thing to discuss because, in a way, it was the only thing to discuss about because constructor championship was a matter of time.
Yeah, matter of time. Like the Verstappen being champion was also a matter of time. Yeah. So the fight now is for the second place, mainly between Perez and Leclerc. I think well, if nothing unusual happens, I would say Leclerc will be vice champion. We will see. And yeah, they had a good fight. We had some good fights. Also, Hamilton and Ocon. Hamilton was trying all race long, tried to overtake Ocon, but no, he couldn't. That Mercedes really lacked top speed. And a good race. I don't remember saying this a lot of times of Ocon, but a nice and good race. Yeah. It was like we usually make the positives and the negatives, and Verstappen has been on the positives, and in this race he is there, of course. But here I would say Ocon, very, very strong performance. Also, alongside him, Vettel finished sixth, showing how things are done. And finally, Latifi, that scored his first points of the season in a very tricky race, huh? Man.
Yeah, sorry. A friend of mine says that Latifi and Stroll are good drivers under the rain on wet asphalt because of Canadian weather. It's a good theory. They are very used to rain and snow, so
yeah, maybe like since they started in karts or something like that, they are more used to. They had more races on the rain. Maybe it makes sense.
Yeah, maybe. So, have you got any other comments about Japanese Grand Prix?
Yeah, well, we could talk about, like we were talking before, about positives and negatives. We could go to the negatives. Not a strong race for Alfa Romeo, which has been declining their performance. Also, Haas not good. Well, Haas and Alfa Romeo, they were 14, 15, 16, and 17. Not so strong.
Sorry, we are recording 2 weeks away from the race. At this point, we know that Alfa Romeo, well, we knew then, but now we are sure that Alfa Romeo's main sponsor is saying goodbye, and Ferrari is not providing more engines. So I think that there is a thing that is broken. Next year it will be Alfa Romeo again, but
I think that next year. Yeah, no, next year it's still Alfa Romeo and Ferrari, but in 2024 they will use Ferrari engine, but they will not be Alfa Romeo, right?
It will be Sauber again.
Sauber again for 2 years, and then Audi.
So
Audi Sauber? Or just Audi?
Just Audi, like this time. We know that team as Alfa Romeo nowadays, even if we know that it is Alfa Romeo Sauber. Like when it was BMW Sauber, always the constructor put its name in bigger paper.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Well, sorry, I interrupted you. You were speaking about Alfa Romeo and Haas.
No, but that was it. And we also knew back then that Aston Martin was getting how we could say a final. Or it seemed like a final push, and they were having good results, like this one, Vettel being sixth, and very quickly they went from 9th on the grid to 7th. Well, that was another race that helped achieving that, and they are fighting with Alfa Romeo for 6th, and they are they seem in a much better position now regarding performance. At this time, their car seems stronger than Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, they are going to do it. They are going to be beyond Alfa Romeo and has scored points.
Yeah, I also think so. Well, and this is it, I think.
Okay.
And now we are just arrived to the United States, a very special and strange country that nowadays is visited by Formula One twice. Am I right? Twice a year.
Yeah, And it will be for a third time next year.
Yeah, 3 times next year.
3 times.
Yeah, including the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Am I right?
You are totally right.
Okay. But this year we had a second race after Miami. Not directly, but in the middle we had a few Grand Prixes. And after Japan, we went directly, yes, to United States, to Austin.
Yeah, Austin in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And what a beautiful track. That circuit layout is amazing, don't you think?
Absolutely. I really love this track. It has, the specialist, you are our specialist, but in general, people say that the layout, it is inspired in many other famous tracks. So you can see part of Silverstone, Istanbul
Suzuka.
Park, Suzuka, and it's great to see these cars in that track. As I told you recently, I was really waiting for this Grand Prix. And it was a little bit disappointing for me. But it's only my personal opinion. As I always repeat, and repeat, we got our specialist here to analyze and to discuss.
No, but I agree with you. And even when we were, maybe for a second there, we thought that Hamilton could maybe not win, but give a proper fight to Max. But even after a few laps, I think everyone understood that Max would just win that race easily, and that was what happened. I think the all Red Bull package, so Red Bull car and Max Verstappen, are on another level, and I don't know. Maybe in Mexico it will be different, but it seems like there will be a bunch of boring races until the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. We all see that Mercedes is improving race after race. It is strange to say it, but we are all waiting Mercedes to fight against Red Bull. Even we were saying and expecting something really different in the very beginning of the championship.
Yeah.
And eventually we had a few strange moments during the race. So it was a very strange. Well, we had a safety car, and it was really strange. We are not waiting for a safety car when we are having an American Grand Prix, at least at Austin.
Mm-hmm. No, but yeah, because it's not so usual on this track. It's not a street circuit or a narrow circuit. It has open, wide.
CLCS, safety seats.
But we had a kind of big crash there between Stroll and Alonso.
Ooh, I forgot about that. I forgot about that completely.
Yeah.
And it was an spectacular crash. Very F1, very 80s F1.
And well, if Stroll's car was completely destroyed, Alonso also seemed to be a little bit messed up, the car, but I don't know how he managed to continue because he flew. I don't know the proper term, but he almost it was almost like an airplane there.
Yeah.
But somehow he managed to continue and finished with a great result.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Even in the organization, we saw in the the announcement during the transmission that he was figured as an abandoned car, as DNF, but it was like a phoenix.
Yeah, no, very, very unbelievable. The car is like tough.
Yeah, like a T-34 Russian tank. Yeah, great, and a great drive. He managed to finish seventh.
Seventh, yeah.
And FAI, But
Well,
let's
that-
comment. Let's comment that after, if you want.
Well, and as we already said, a great race for Red Bull and Verstappen. Hamilton also was strong. There was a time when Red Bull messed up Verstappen's pit stop. That at least I thought that he could go for the win.
Another strange situation. The other strange situation in Austin was Red Bull team making a mistake during the pit stop.
Yeah, not usual, but well, it happens to everybody, and not only to Ferrari. And yeah, Verstappen had to really fight for that win. He managed to do it, but a thumbs up to Lewis Hamilton also. And Charles Leclerc with a nice race because he started from, well, not the back, but mid-back because of an engine change. And I think he gave it all. That overtake on Perez was, I think, one of the best overtakes that we saw this season. Leclerc's overtake and also Vettel, the one on the outside.
Vettel, who was also doing a great job. We
Vettel
are going
did,
to
yeah.
we are going to miss him.
Of course, if he does more performances like this in these final stages of the championship, it will be a proper goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely. I know there are a lot of fans like me that once upon a time hated Sebastian Vettel, but we all grow and also Seb himself.
Yeah.
And well, I think we are going to miss a great champion.
Yeah, I agree with you. Totally agree with you. And well, this race we had a lot of good drives. Like many drivers drove well, like Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, Alonso, Vettel, Magnussen scored 2 points and had a marvelous fight with Vettel on the final lap. Also, Lando Norris, who finished 6th. Tsunoda, a good drive with that last point. Well, we had a lot of good performances on this race, that was nice to see. Maybe not so on the positive side, Perez and Russell, and well, Latifi, we are used to it. Ricciardo also.
Ricciardo, well, someone said that Ricciardo is arriving right now to Mexico. He went directly in his car from the circuit. Yeah.
Poor Daniel. I don't understand how it is possible to be, because we know he's not, well, he didn't forget how to drive, and he is not a bad driver. So it's very interesting how the car not the car, but you not adapting to the car, and maybe the psychological state in which you are so influential on the final result. Because I
Absolutely.
think that those have to be the problems right now. He didn't forget how to drive, and he's a brilliant driver. But somehow there are some things that it's difficult.
You were speaking about Ricciardo, and I remembered his Red Bull era, and that made me think about Red Bull itself as a team. All the drivers we knew. Sorry, all the drivers we knew and arrived to Formula One thanks to Red Bull team. And last week, it was last week, we knew about
Dietrich Mateschitz.
Yeah, difficult to pronounce for us Latins.
Yeah.
I didn't even try.
Yeah. And it was the best option, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, even Sebastian Vettel was really sad because of the how do you say the death is not the proper word. The
No, and it's incredible. Like right now in Formula One, 8 of the 20 drivers started with Red Bull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
8.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. It's
Almost.
almost off.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that Red Bull is a killer of career. Give me a break.
They in a way or another they reinvented Formula One as we know it nowadays. Yeah. Well, even this guy we were talking about a few minutes ago, even this guy called Sebastian Vettel is not a Red Bull invention, but almost.
Yeah. Well, and people say that they are a killer of careers, and you were saying.
Well, in fact, in a way or another, Formula One destroys, builds and rebuilds careers all the time. Also, it's business, so I don't think it's the best way someone could manage it, but I think that is the way that work it. They arranged themselves to be there, to be successful. We had a lot of good drivers that we would like to be there more time. I don't know, Sebastian Bourdais, the Frenchman, the one who was champion for Jean-Eric, and a few more.
Even Antonio Felix Acosta, which was not given an opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. It's business, and we are not risking our own money. They are doing it. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's their call. And yeah, just to finalize our USDP, the usual note for FIA. What do you have to say to FIA, Diego?
Oh, I don't know. What are they doing to this sport, this beautiful sport? What are they doing?
I would say get your shit together.
What happened? Please, I know you are going to speak about Fernando Alonso and his mirror, but please.
Well, what happened was that after that crash, Fernando Alonso stayed on track. And he was with some damages, and one of them was the mirror that fell off, But he didn't receive black and orange flag, which indicates that you have to pit and solve that issue. So he continued, and he finished 7th. Great job. Then, and they have every right to do so, because they were stupidly given 2 or 3 times the black and orange flag this year.
For similar reasons that are not reasonable in a way.
Yeah, they were given 3 times, I think. And it was always Kevin Magnussen, I think, the black and orange flag. So
let's remember that even Checo Perez was with an end plate, lose many laps, and no one told anything about that.
That's right.
It was in the same race, in the same track. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. So, well, they had every right to do so, asked the stewards for a penalty after the race to Fernando Alonso. And the steward analyzed the situation and gave the penalty to Alonso. The thing is that Haas submitted their request 24 minutes after the proper deadline. So, Alpine made an appeal for that to not be accepted. And on Thursday, I think, they reviewed the issue and Fernando Alonso was reinstated to 7th. So, a complete mess. They went back with the decision, but not for the right reasons. Because they only went back. Yeah, they went back because they
did wrong the procedure.
Yeah, 24 minutes after the deadline. So
it's
that
ridiculous.
was why they went back.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
No, it seems like kindergarten. Maybe Toribio should start to lend them a hand.
Yeah. Perhaps it could do a better work. Mm.
Well, and that was it. So I don't get there to get their shit together. That's it.
Mhm. Okay. Let's see what happens at Mexico.
Always something happens.
There are surprises always to come. Okay, man. So,
We see everyone on the next episode, and in
very soon.
Yeah,
Very
very
soon.
soon. Very soon.
Okay, let's say goodbye then.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.